you guys, and welcome to part 2 of my raised garden bed series. So I'm really excited about this one. In the link below, there's going to be part 1. So part 1 was all about putting everything together, sawing, drilling, and screwing in the screws for this. And I explained how I did it, which boards to use, how everything was put together, and it had 2 ways of doing it. So this one is all about the fun stuff, putting the liner at the bottom, as well as putting the dirt, and hopefully pretty soon putting in all the plants. So let me show you what we're doing. So what I'm using is this. I'm stapling this at the bottom of the beds, so we won't have a bunch of weeds coming up. And now all this is just a liner, just to prevent any weeds. Nothing too amazing. So I put the staples in the liner about every 12 inches, just so I could have enough in there, but not have the staples too close together. And I made sure to pull the liner tight, so that way I don't have a big bunch underneath. So now that I finished putting the mesh on the bottom of the boxes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to position them about 3 to 4 feet apart. The reason I want to do that is I want to make sure that there's enough space between the boxes so I could weed, I could water, I can make sure everything's good with them. I also want to make sure they're spaced out enough so that way if you have any plants that come over the side of the boxes, over the rim, that way they have plenty of area to just grow and move. And that way I don't have anything cramped in there, because in previous gardens that I've had, I basically had to tie up different branches for the tomato plants, tie them up to the side, to the rail of the, I don't know what that's called, the metal container that they were in, and make sure that they just didn't get out, or that they had enough room to grow. So with this, they'll be able to have plenty of space. I just need to make sure that I space them enough. So I'm going to go ahead and put them about probably 3.5 feet away from each other. So let's do this. We actually decided to put them at least 42 inches apart, just to make sure that the lawnmower can get in, and we could cut the grass as well as the weeds, so we don't have a bunch of so we don't have to go in there with the weed trimmer. It's funny because looking back, I want to kick myself for even having to use the ruler, because I really did not need to use this, because we just rearranged it anyway. So the dirt finally came. It reeks, but that's perfectly fine. And we have, if you see back there, this hill right here, that is that's some dirt that we got somewhere else. So what I'm hoping that this is enough to make sure that the raised garden boxes are going to be filled fully. But just in case we still have this thing of dirt, the only thing is there's so many weeds, as you can see on it, that I'm hoping that I don't have to worry about that and I don't have to use that, but we had that on standby. So I'll go ahead and get a wheelbarrow and put it in there. So you guys, it's at this point that I realized that I absolutely need to have help. So I'm going to wait for my husband to be free to be able to help me to shovel all the dirt and then dump it in here. So as strong as I am, I think that I might require him. Plus I'm working on a wheelbarrow that has a flat tire when I fill it with dirt, so that really needs to change. The tires got pumped up, everything was great, and that hole that my husband's working through, I had already started moving the dirt, which by the way is a lot heavier than compost, over to the raised garden boxes. But I'm really happy that my husband helped out, because it took me far more trips to go back and forth, and he basically got double the amount of dirt that we needed, so it cut back on the time. So yay to my husband. So So all we did was we put dirt on the very bottom, we put compost right in the middle, and in just a little bit you're gonna see that we put more dirt on the top. And we did this because we wanted to go through and mix it all. That way the plants would have a good mixture of both topsoil as well as compost. So not only did we use the raised garden beds, however, we also used these bins that a friend had given us. And I just went through and drilled some more holes at the bottom so that way it was very well drained. Honestly, the hardest part of this whole thing was just trying to drag those buckets full of dirt over to where the raised garden boxes were. But I was up for the challenge, and I just put some more compost in here so that way the tomato plants that I put in here would have more than enough nutrients to go into it. After all this work, it was just adding the plants. While I was trying to do all this stuff, my daughter was over playing in the little pool with her like little pool diapers, and then she would come over into the garden boxes and start walking around in the dirt and just got herself so muddy. So I needed somewhere to put the strawberries because I didn't have any other room. So I decided to dig a hole in the ground right where the boxes are right here. And I didn't have anything to really grind all the dirt and the weeds and everything together, so I just dug a hole, put the strawberries right in there, and you're gonna see it in a little bit, but I put the weed liner on top of it, and I put compost on top, so that way there's not gonna be enough sun to get to the grass or the weeds, so hopefully they will just die off. And once that's died, I could just go ahead and mix everything together, so that way the strawberries will have plenty of room to just stretch out and creep and crawl. Okay, you guys, so I'm really excited because the garden is finally done for now. I'll show you what I mean by that, but let me give you a tour. So we have blueberries here. That was a fun situation because let me show you where I got them all. So I dug them all up from here. You can see the four holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that was a chore because if you can see all this used to be our garden. However, it's no longer here. We need to actually bush hog this. I had to go through all the weeds that are on the ground, plus pull up some of the I think that they're oak trees. I'm not exactly sure, and some weeds, and move them from here over there. That was a chore, but it all worked out really great, so I'm happy about it. I think I got a couple ticks from that, but that's okay. We have all of our squash right here and some other boards that somebody gave me. I have to figure out what to do with them, but I have watermelon. These are jack-o'-lanterns. I think that's a jack-o'-lantern too, but that's watermelon, I think. You know, when I told you that all the plants got trampled through, those might be watermelon jack-o'-lanterns. But we have peppers here. I'm really excited about that because now I can make cheese steaks with those, as well as beets. We have a lot of tomato plants as well as some cucumber plants. I was told that cucumber plants would help out with protecting the tomato plants. They're actually like, I forget what it's called, like a positive, some kind of helpful plant. But I have cabbage over here, which I was running out of room, so I was just trying to plant things places. This right here is squash. So we're gonna see how all this works. I wanted to plant this right here because I figured that it would be less crowded for the cabbage. And then I have a mammoth sunflower in the middle. That way we could get the insects to that instead of the tomato plants. I have onions over here. I have carrots over here. And I also want to plant some more carrots in some of these boxes just to see if it would grow. But we have a lot of cucumbers as well as more tomatoes over here. We had a lot of tomatoes. And then over here, I just put the, as you saw, I just put the strawberry plant right here. Now, here's the lettuce, and as you can see, the lettuce has been severely damaged because the groundhogs have been chomping away at them. They should look a little more like this, but right now it looks like this. That's spinach right there. And what I did, I'll put a link to these, but I got like this little fence gate thing from Amazon, so I could hopefully put that around the tomatoes over here, the lettuce over here, and prevent the groundhogs from going into there, because they also got the only ripe lettuce, the only ripe tomato, the only ripe strawberry that I had on my plants. So once I get that put in, hopefully I won't have the groundhog problem. So I got these buckets full of tomatoes as well as cucumbers. I want to put trellises up for the cucumbers, and they're again supposed to help out with the tomato plants. I made a, this is a bucket for composting. What I want to do, and I'll show you this in a second. Welcome to the garage. So I want to get these boards and cut them in half and create a compost bin with them, because I wanted to make sure that the worms got enough nutrients and everything. So once I get the compost bin over taken care of, I'm going to put it over in between this truck that we have, and that one will eventually move, and this raised plant box like right in here. And then get the, I'm hoping to put more strawberry plants right here as well as right here. We'll see. But that way we could make sure that there's plant life with the, for the worms, to make sure that everything looks great and is good for them. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me as I finish out my final video for the for my raised garden beds and just planting everything. And hopefully this is going to be the best garden I've ever had. So I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope that you guys have a good one. I will see you guys later. Bye.